Philip, it's so nice to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
For coming. And it's been honestly, we haven't met before. So by doing this interview, we're like just met today. And your story is really interesting. You've been on Fiverr for quite some time, and you're actually an agency on Fiverr, which I'm also excited to ask. But first, how you end up on Fiverr? Let's talk about this and how's...
Thank you, Vasily, for having me today. Everything started back in 2021, I think. Like a lot of people on Fiverr end up, they need some sort of pocket change or some way to earn money. I was a student back there. It was my actually second faculty, because the first one I was a kind of a dropout. I was studying the physics. And it just didn't push it there. I didn't find myself at the end there. It was just like a lost promise or something like that. And after some times I was working different jobs, because with a high school in Serbia you cannot do a lot. So I was doing like in a cafe or some bars or stuff like that. And I always see myself as something bigger, to do something differently than this. And at that time I was living with my girlfriend, now my wife. And when I started to go to this new faculty, it was like a technical faculty for animation and stuff like that. I was learning about animation in the 3D, and I was seeing some of the courses online, and also one of my professors was holding one of those courses for creating a stylized characters for different purposes. What do you want to do for a 3D printing, or for the games, or for the animations, for just for yourself, for the caricatures, for the art itself. And I applied for that course, and he took me. It was only 8 people in whole generation, so all 4 years, only 8 people. And he took me because he saw, I guess, he saw potential. And it was like a 2-week boot camp where we built one character, and he give us creative and corrective technical corrections, how you can do this and that, or and stuff like that. And after that, I did get my first project for my portfolio. It was actually me watching the Olympic Games back in 2021. It was in Tokyo, I think, or something like that. So it was like a stylized character, And after that, I was thinking it could be a good thing to maybe start, or at least try to earn from this, from the skill I collected, let's say that way. And then, I, tried to find some job online, And the Fiverr came up first. I did try other freelance websites like Upwork and Freelancer. But for the Fiverr, I really loved that you could set up, say, gig is equivalent to the store. You could set up the store. You could set up your description of what you could do, or what's your abilities, what's your skills. And then people come and ask for the services. And it was maybe a bit more, I was enjoying more that than to apply for the projects, because when I applied to the projects, I see that maybe in those applications you lost the client lost you, or maybe it was a bit difficult for me to find there. I did have some of the projects on Upwork as well, and on the Freelancer, but it was so saturated in that point that I couldn't get what I want, the quality client, or at least the client that I could work with. And the Fiverr, I started and I see, you need 3 pictures, for example, for the start. And I was like, okay, I need 2 more projects. So I created my wife, like a stylized character. And it was also her gift for her diploma for the faculty, because she finished the faculty, and I want to, surprise her. And I made a little toy, stylized of her, and, put a frame in it, and, everything like that. And the third one was like if you watch maybe Last Airbender, Avatar, that cartoon series, Aang, and I created Aang as well. So it was my 3 projects. And then I, see that it could also, video could increase the probability of client to notice you. So for starters, I didn't know a lot about my animation back then. But I know that I could just do a simple third name of the character, place the character, make a scene, lights and everything, like you do with the live footage, and just turn the character 360. And that was it for the starts. I prepared my Fiverr gig, and that was first Fiverr gig. I think it was some sort of universal 3D character. It wasn't like specific at it that way. So it was like, I will create a 3D character for you for different digital domain purposes.
And what was the pricing on the game?
Back then, it was like, I think the lowest tier was $50.
So $50 the starting price.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
$5.
Not $5. Yeah, I was also what I have noticed is when I because I knew how to create a design, but I didn't know how to create an SEO and a good text like creative, copy, and I didn't know how to how much will I charge, what's the price of the other people. So that's what I did. I go to the Fiverr as a buyer, and I saw in that particular category that was like, I think 3D characters or 3D modeling or 3D at all. And I was like looking what other creators, similar to my niche can do and for what money. And I was like, okay, I think stylistically I'm better than this guy. I'm not good as this guy. And in between those two, I managed to find some price, which was like, for example, I think the first tier was like $50. I don't remember second and third tier, but let's say that it was maybe 2 times or 3 times, bigger than this.
And how long you did this like a research of like checking, because before you like create your gig you probably spent some time on
I did, but I do have like some sort of a flaw that when I do some stuff I analyze too much. So for example, I did ask you for the microphones and for the camera. I could spend a month before I buy a specific microphone or a camera, so I try to avoid that, because I could analyze and then do nothing and just give up at the end of the day. So I did do that for like maybe a couple of days. Okay. Yeah, so something like that. I could easily do more. I could analyze more, but I see what's actually going through, what's the like a best description. I saw also, back in the day I think that ChatGPT didn't work, didn't exist, so I couldn't ask him to write me. So I need to do that by myself. It was in ancient times.
Yeah.
And I saw that a lot of sellers that do quality gigs, they have like a paragraph and then bullet points with all the stuff that they can do, and maybe some sort of another paragraph at the end, like like call to action, some sort of that. And I was like, okay, I will copy this guy because he has the best one and he has like most orders, and I think that it's most similar to mine. And then I just adjusted to mine. Yeah. And same thing for the prices. It's when you're in the start and you have a lot of experience and you have like a slim portfolio, then it's best to see what others are doing good. And maybe also you could notice some sort of thing that they do bad. When I was starting, I saw how others are creating their thumbnails for the profile, and I noticed what works and what not. I knew that because I was studying, let's say, some sort of intertwine between technology and art. So I know what things need to be visible, where you need to place a light and stuff like that. So that character could be like clearly visible. It doesn't need to be like. If you use a dark character and dark background, it won't work. It's just a simple color theory, and the stuff that designers know. So that was like my, let's say, a good thing.
Yeah. And so you put up a gig, you put up everything, description, and I agree with you. Actually, I spent also some time like seeing what others are doing. That's what kind of motivated me, because I saw some sellers like, oh, they have this number of orders in queue, they're like doing that well, so it kind of like pushes you. So, but what happens like once you put up a gig? How long it took you to get that first buyer?
So I remember that I think I started in September. And it happened. For 1 month, I didn't have anything. I did check in occasionally, but I didn't get anything. And then one guy in October, I think, contacted me, and he's having a hairdresser salon. I think it was in US or in France. I cannot remember now. But he wanted to create an AR app where when the client comes and point their face cam, their selfie cam, you could see the stylized version of the hair. So for example, if it has like a dreadlocks or like a curly hair, it will show like a stylized model of that hair. And that was actually my first job. It wasn't even the character. So it was like some sort of like a 3D model for that. But I didn't know, how to prepare that model for the AR app. I didn't know even what AR means, so I need to Google it from the side. I was really a beginner at that time.
Did he order the gig right away, or did he message you like?
He did message me first. I think that was actually the first message. I don't count the bot spamming messages.
Was it a lot as well, like those bots and?
I think it was at the start because my friend, that recently started doing Fiverr, and he became really Fiverr pro really quickly because he worked in a big company, and the company had layoffs, and then he started to do freelancing. He also got a lot of bots, and that was like a couple of months ago. So I think that's like a issue.
That's a common thing.
Yeah, it's a common thing. When you do have like a smaller profile, or when the gig is new. I did, just delete those messages, and you could see when the genuine people, send you a message, in regard of these bots. And he told me, "Do you know how to do it?" I said, "I know." And I see that it's a common thing that a lot of people, when they start, they need to brace themselves, to go over the fear and to go over to that comfort that they have, And I noticed when I was talking to, I will talk about that, but, later, when I started working, and I was trying to find some freelancers to work with me, when I sent them something that they didn't work, they said me that they didn't work and they want to do that. But in reality, maybe if they need job, maybe they need to go out of those limits of what can they do in their mind, and try maybe something else. For example, it wasn't, I'm not sure how much do you know about CGI and 3D, but in terms of my job, it wasn't too far off. It's still a hair is still a part of the character. You just need to be a bit more adjusted. How will it show in a 3D space, and how will it show when somebody points the face cam. I'm not doing that programming stuff. I'm just doing the designing stuff. So from my perspective, I just need to know how to make a game-looking character, because it needs to be optimized for the phones, and that was everything. I was checking a bit online and see, okay, I know how to do this. It just need to be, restricted with the texture and with the polygons, and I need to name textures specific way so that Android app can load it. Okay, so super cool. Okay, and I did it, and he was actually amazed with the work. Probably because right now I see that I definitely underpaid myself in that particular moment, and he even left me some tip and stuff like that. And I was like, cool, yeah, I think that this could go further than this. And we did a couple of more projects, and then after that I did have my first project. It was a character design. It was a character for some game, I think, or something like that. It was maybe $50-$60 as well. I did the character, and client canceled. And it was a second project. I was bummed, I was okay, I saw the metrics going down because I only have a few solved projects, and I was okay, everything will
Did
fall.
he cancel during the orders, or
No,
was it after?
Yeah, after. In that time I wasted 7 days,
Wow. Yeah.
7 days of my time. Yeah. I mean, it's funny when I'm looking right now, but in that time it wasn't so funny, because, I saw that you cannot do a lot when the client wants to cancel the project and when you're new on the Fiverr. And, after that, I was thinking, okay, maybe this is over, maybe I won't, start here. I then jump on the Upwork back, do some projects. And then again, I got some client, and I was okay, I know what was the problem with that canceled order. It was miscommunication. So it wasn't actually a problem, the character itself. I didn't understand what the client needs. So the client wanted a character for the game, but he didn't show me any references for the game or concept art. He wanted just a character. He sent me, it should be alien character, and he sent me some sort of 2D drawing, or let's say the illustration. And at the end of the work, when he canceled, he put the comment, I wanted the AAA character. And now it's funny because AAA characters cost 100 times as much, maybe even 1,000 times as much. It depends on what you want to do. And, you need to know to do things there. Maybe the first thing is that you shouldn't, apply for the job, or you maybe shouldn't accept the job at the start because it was unrealistic expectation. And the second thing, you should communicate better. So I was trying to not say it was a client fault or something like that. even if it is, you should find something that you could learn from this. And from my side, I learned how to ask questions. So that was a great thing. And I was like, okay, maybe I will ask these questions, often. Then I started to use that lighting stuff, I know what's the name, the fast macros for the messages and stuff like that. And I have like a 50 macros for different clients when they, send me some sort of animation or character or 3D printing. And I do have like those messages that I could send them, because I know what they now ask. And I was like, okay, let's start for the reference and for the style and for the stuff like that. Do you want 3D realistic or pixel-like or low poly or Minecraft or Fortnite, or do you want 2D characters that's like flat, shaded, and stuff like that. And even later on, I started making like a visual PDF files where client could, decide like with a checkbox what style they want if they do not have references. Today, a lot of clients do have references because we, started to grow, and it's not the same situation back in the 2021, but it still does happen that some clients did not have like a creative visualization of the project, so we need to help them. It's definitely our job as well. They do not need to have references. We need to push that from our side as well.
Yeah, for us it's also very important because we, like when the client places an order, we have two services, Instagram Growth, which is a bit more simpler because we need their access and some just reference accounts. But for the content, we need to ask them a lot of questions. Like we have a really big list of requirements and we're showing them which style they want, A, B, C, D, so they can choose, because at the end of the day, like we can of course make our lives easier by, having this information in the beginning, then, just client messaging us like, oh, I actually wanted something completely different, but by having these requirements is important. And so going back to the Fiverr journey, so it started, it seems like, you found this sort of first orders. But now looking at your profile, you're a pro seller, you're a top rated seller. So how long it took you to realize that, okay, Fiverr can be something that I should be doing full time? Like what was how many months it took you?
Even, if we, do in retrospective, we talk, the entire thing that we talked, it was like in October 2021. I actually managed to jump from like maybe 500 to 5K in like a 2 or 3 months in that period. And in that period, I was noticed that this could be something, definitely. And I could choose two ways to it. Like I could keep on this amount of money and work by myself, or I could try to maybe create something bigger than me, in that like kind of way I was thinking back then. So I could, try to maybe delegate work or to find, somebody who could help me, with this work, and to try to take more job. And I did choose this second because I think that it was like kind of my dream to like have like a community or like a team that I could lead and I could grow. Today we are a team of 9. I think because my wife is on maternity leave, so it's like 8 but 9. And we are doing like around, at least on Fiverr, allowed 12 to 13K. Like currently, that was like an average.
Yeah, and but how, like, when did you reach the top-rated seller? Like, what was the?
So back then, top-rated seller, I think it will like needed to have like a 20K and like number of orders, and I reached 20K first, and then I just need to reach number of rates or orders, something like that. I think it needed to. I needed like 18 months to reach from the start of the account to the top-rated seller.
Did you feel the big difference whenever you reached the top-rated seller? Like, did you feel actually more work, more orders?
I did notice. Well, I think that it's not that easy to answer because in the beginning and in the middle, I did have like different prices, and in some point I had, for example, for the things that I could put and what I could deliver to our clients, we did have a really low prices. And we had like a higher level of messaging and the orders and stuff like that. When we reach that top level seller, we did raise prices in the meantime. So that means that we didn't earn less. We actually earned more, but we didn't have like those too much offers. For example, right now, we do not have like 100 offers or orders, let's say that way. We have like a 5 or 6, but they're like from 1 to 3, 5 You know?
The more higher ticket ones.
Yeah. And that was actually our aim. I wanted to avoid what usually studios. So we are like 3D animation studio, or I like to call a creative studio because we do a 3D, 2D, and different kinds of stuff in the digital domain. But I want to avoid what a lot of small and mid studios do, and that's they do have like one partner. So they have like one client that is really big. They're working only with them. And when that client, for example, cut dry, has some sort of sanctions, war, or anything like that, you know, they're cut off and they do not have any communication. They don't have any network, you know, beside that, and they need to shut down. I wanted to. That's why I like Fiverr, because it's a lot of people, you know, that comes to me. And I just wanted to, you know, to make a decent group of clients that's not really like those low-level client like I mentioned at the start, but somewhere in the middle, you know. And like that number, 5 to 7 orders or 3 to 5 orders per month is even enough to get this reach if you get this high quality tickets client.
Yeah, because you have a higher ticket prices. Like when I go now on your profile, you have like $300, like $500, like more higher tickets. So it's a good approach. I think it's definitely healthier. And also Fiverr do wants sellers to sell not at $5 right now, but it's a higher price. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. So I'm also curious to hear about the pro. So you are a pro seller as well. And when did it happen? Did you like applied it after you got top rated seller, or did you applied it like maybe even at the beginning, at the earlier stage?
I think I applied several months after I started working, and it was my friend. I think I mentioned you about earlier. He's also worked on Fiverr. He's now working in a big London studio, you know. But you know, he introduced me to the Fiverr. Let's say that way. And he was already pro, and I was like, okay, how do you get that pro? He was like, you just apply and that's it, you know. But you know, it was confusing for me, because what's the difference between the pro and the, you know, non-pro? Just applying or not? But yeah, you need to have like some sort of work that's really quality, and you do have like some sort of certification from some sort of clients that could, you know, push you to the pro limit. And I think I did manage to become pro. Like I think that applications process is like 4 months, and I think that I applied for in December, January of 2022. So in like April, May, I became a pro. So it's like 8 to 9 months after I started.
So they just accepted you from the first try.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah. But that was for gigs that includes 3D modeling characters and 3D sculpts and stuff like that. But for example, I did apply for the animation gig now, and for some reason they didn't accept it, even though I'm much better than, you know, before. So maybe something changed along the way. I don't know why, but we'll, you know, reapply after I think 4 months. We could reapply for that again. But yeah, I don't know I didn't, you know, watch and look how the thing is looking now for that. But yeah, we did from the first try in the April. Yeah.
Do you think because I mean, I know I was actually applying many times to the pro. I was getting rejected, and then eventually, because I think because this is also a very popular question for many sellers. They want to be pro, they're always asking. I did the video about it and I tried to explain. But in my case, what worked is I was showing some higher, buyers that have some like clients' reputation online that you can essentially Google. Maybe you can find their business, or there maybe a corporation if you can. But still clients that are more noticeable. And Fiverr likes it, and they're like, okay, you know, you work with these clients, you know, we want you to be as a pro. Did you find something like similar?
Yeah.
And did you use the Fiverr projects as a portfolio for pro?
Yes, we did use the Fiverr projects. As well, we did from the side develop our own projects, our own website, portfolio, and stuff like that. So the clients that, you know, can see, you know, our portfolio website as well. But yeah, we did have like bigger clients, like say that way, like a Decathlon, G Fiber, Kipling. There's like a fashion brands or telecommunication. I think that they're a telecommunication firm from London, and they're big in UK and in Gibraltar. And we did like commercials for them. So definitely those stuff can benefit. Also from side, I did like some stuff for Epic Games, for Unreal Engine. And I did have like my short movie. It was like 2 minutes. It's a love story between some robots, and I did that in 5 weeks. That was like some sort of boot camp. And, I also use that as a portfolio, piece, which is, at the end, really good stuff because, you do develop yourself as an artist and you could develop, your Fiverr profile as well. Back then when I was going for the artist direction, somewhere in between when I started to have a company, studio, let's say that way, and I realized that I cannot grow myself as an artist, or I don't have time for that much, and I need to grow myself as an entrepreneur or businessman or stuff like that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really cool to hear because your first of all your services are completely different like than mine, and it's interesting to hear your as well the background how you came to this point. And let's talk about the team, because this is also something is exciting. Many sellers on Fiverr, they're curious. How do I start hiring people? How do I trust people? Do I give them the access? Do I use the Teams feature? So how just you were able to find this person? Because like I spoke with Alec, he was on my interviews previously. For example, for him it's very hard to build like let's say a team because he's like it's more complicated to explain what the person can do, and he's the one that feels he can do it the best. How did it start for you?
Well, I could split this story in 2 parts. I could split in how I did and how I'm going to do. So there's like no present at this moment. It's a bit weird, but yeah, because I'm currently in development of that phase. How I did is that when I see that I have a lot of work, I started looking online. I started looking for another Fiverr freelancers or something like that. But I have some problem I don't know if it's for communication or whatnot. I had problem to find what I'm looking for, and maybe it was because I wanted to have someone who is maybe closer to me. So I turned to to the Serbian community and start looking on the Facebook or like making posts and stuff like that. Also at that time, I had some friends that was again had like more experience than me. One who was also having an agency, but he's doing visualization and architectural stuff. And I was asking him, how did you find your workers? He also had a small company, like maybe 2 or 3 employees. And he said, for starters, you could start with the Facebook groups, or you're going to college, right? Try to ask some of your colleague friends, will they want to work from the side and stuff like that. And I started doing first the Facebook groups, then, after, some of the candidates, messaged me and I was talking to them. It was like a small group of people. Like today, when you push the job post, like 100 people, apply. And back then it was like 10 people maybe, because you were nobody, and it was, just for the freelance, for the contract work. But I found a person, Dan, who was really good, back then, and even he's working right now. 3 years we're already working. And he's actually my team lead for the technical stuff right now. So he also progressed with me together on this journey. He was really, really good in. He understands what I want to convert from the client, and what I want to get client back. He didn't understand the vision. He didn't understand the art. I didn't need to correct them on some basic stuff like lights or colors or stuff like that. That was like really, really important because I saw that I do have like now more time, And then beside that, I did contact several other people from my class, let's say that way. I know that I contacted a lot of them, and in the end, only one, stick to work, with me until the end. A lot of people was like, why are you even doing this stuff? You're in college, you don't need to do. You did tell me that you had a similar experience. Yeah, it was like one of guys that he's a friend of mine, and I was asking him, do you want to work, to get some extra? He was like why? I don't need to work, like I didn't have my diploma yet, I will work when I get diploma. I'm not agreeing with that because, you don't need to get diploma to get work, you can get to work when you get to work, when you're ready in your mind to do that, when you see that you could, do something for yourself and for your family. And maybe it was like a bit different because, like I said, it was my second college. I was a bit older than them. They were like still in their early 20s or even not 20s, I think. But yeah, it doesn't. It's just from the person to person. And yeah, so that was for the start. And a lot of people come and go. Like it was like maybe some contracts that work like 2 or 3 months or something like that. And then they found something else, or maybe they do not fulfill what they need to, and then you need to, end the contract with them. But yeah, it's just a process. You need to evolve, during this process, to see what's good for you, what's good for them, are you fit, and there is no like a special magical potion or solution, to this, You cannot give the bullet points for this because like your agency in my studio, they're completely different, and you're looking for different people, for different jobs. I may be asking for them stuff that you don't need, and you need if you're, for example, a freelancer who is in my city like 3 years ago. Maybe you should just check the local thing, local groups or people around you, or people from college, or people from high school. See what your friends are doing. Maybe they're like in designing world and stuff like that. And try to talk with them and see how will things turn out at the end of the day.
Does your team also helps you with like communication, with like responding to messages, or are you like handling everything yourself in that aspect?
I could agree with the guy that you mentioned earlier that it's a bit tough to handle them, all the accounts and everything like that. Not just because of the security reasons. It's more because I do have like some sort of way how I can communicate with the clients, and how I can I could because I do have like a lot of experience, and I do know how to turn the lead into a client at the end of the day. Again, it could be taught definitely, but I didn't try it yet. That's why I said it's what I will do. Currently, I'm trying to do that with one of our workers to start to working on the part where organization with the clients and communication with the clients and communications with our team. So I could have like more time for maybe some strategic vision of the company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's again a bit different because like you said, you have like a 100 orders, queued. I do have like a 5. So I do have like a smaller ratio to the messages. I don't have like that much messages. So it's like a one-man job. I think that I could handle it. But it's also a good thing to see if somebody else could do as well,
Yeah, because I mean, obviously it's not easy to teach someone like, because your service is more complex as well. And maybe like you said, like you can convert it much quicker, and that other person might actually not convert it at all, and you'll be actually losing clients. So it's tricky, but I still think that you should definitely consider working that direction. Maybe that person will not only just respond to messages, but also like organize the sales structures, and maybe see clients who like maybe spend with you like a lot of money, then you can offer them something new, a new service, for example, because it's still important to keep that communication going. So that's really cool. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, because you're on Fiverr as an agency, and we discussed a little bit about that. Like, well, first of all, do you regret being as an agency? Because some people changed, or you still see it as a positive?
I am still in the process of evaluating what's good and what's not. So I'm just collecting experiences. I was at the start as a freelancer, and then I changed as an agency. And the reason why is that at the end of the day, it's not only me that working on this project. It's my entire team. And I want to to show to the Fiverr and to the entire community that follows us. And on our website, it's not one man band. There's a lot of people, and especially in art, you could see who is working on something. Is it Vuksha, is it Dejan, or is it me? At the end of the day. And it's important that our clients, when they love somebody, when for example, there's some clients that specifically work with some specific team member, because they like their style.
Yeah.
And even if we do like stylized characters, there is a difference, between them. You and me are differently drawing, stuff. So at the end of the day, it's same for the 3D space. I think that for that perspective, I wanted to, instead of just showing me and my work and my earnings, it should be our work and, our earnings and, everything our. But then we do have like another question: is the system for the Fiverr, for the agency, good or bad? I'm still, in the evaluation process, as I said. If I want to show some work of our, I will always show it on our webpage or on our social medias, stuff like that. I will not show it on my profile because it's not only my work. So yeah, maybe it's just like a philosophical question at the end of the day. Is it selfish to show this work as yours or not? I think it's not about that. It's just about trying to see what fits best.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, because especially with the creative services, it's the team behind the scenes, and the clients. They also because it's different for me. For example, we have the creative services designs, but it's like my face. Everything that I'm showing, it's like Vasily, like he's the one who is doing it. And sometimes we get clients. They're like coming back. It's like, oh, like was there another person working on this? Give me that person back. And I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's like, there are positives, and there'll always be some positives and negative from both sides, because for me, it's like, I feel like, okay, if clients, because sometimes, like, when you really have many people and the clients, they start saying, oh, I want this guy, like, can you have this guy? And sometimes it's hard to give this guy, because this guy is already maybe in charge of other projects. So like, the more you're like showing the clients, the more questions there and the more things they have. But again, you have to see how they will be reacting. So I think in your case, it's good that you can be transparent and you can actually showcase.
Beside that, I wanted also to that was an idea, but to draw a higher ticket clients, because we are a studio, we're not an individual, and we do have like a team of people. But at the end of the day, I noticed a lot of times that when I talk with clients, I do need to mention that, even if it says Serious Animation Studios and not Filip Zekic, it's, they see it's a studio, but they're still talking, hey, Filip, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I know when I was talking with one of our clients, it was one of the bigger clients, it was like, we were in the call, and he said, it's Filip Works, and it's, it just, I liked that slide, because, I don't want to, to interrupt them or something like that. But in the back of my mind, it's not only my work at the end of the day. I'm there as a lead. I do, make creative decisions and choices of what and how we do. But, at the end of the day, it's not, only me. So I wanted to try this on the Fiverr to see if these agency things go well. But if not, I will just, change back, As I said, it's, again, about administration only.
Yeah, because also I see sometimes clients, they come to me and they see that I have like hundreds of orders in queue, and they might not want to order, because they will think that they will wait, because they think I'm just like alone, maybe, because that's what they see. They see my profile, they see my face, but when they go to you, they see, okay, this guy has 5 orders in queue, but he has a team, so probably he has some processes built, probably he has already a lot of experience with like managing people. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's a disadvantage to have an agency profile. I don't think it's a disadvantage to have. I think if your services are more higher ticket, probably it makes more sense to show the team. How do you also manage, like, what tools are you using, like, just for giving tasks? Like, I'm just curious to hear some things, like, I mean, probably all using the same things, but I'm curious, like, how you're assigning tasks.
Maybe not, maybe you will be surprised. But yeah, at the start, let's say somewhere around 23, so in mid-2023, we were only remote working, so we didn't have like an office or something like that. And the main communication was Discord. It wasn't Slack, because I saw Slack as lame, and I was a gamer, back in the day. So it's like, okay, Discord will be good. I made the server, I made the channels, and then when we have some new project, I just, have a specific nomenclature for the naming convention of the project, year, date, who is in charge of that project in, their like short like initials, number of the project, and then maybe some sort of initials for the client, just so I could know what's the project. And then we have like a 40 orders like that, in that channel. Also, we do have like categories: shared project, or dance project, or workshops project, or glorious project, or the names. And that's how I did with the freelancers as well. I just made their dedicated channel. They could communicate with me through there, or if they are doing a shared project, they could communicate with the other. Also, there's like a channel for general like stuff, and maybe if I need to say something to everyone, I do have like a general stuff like that. But yeah, that was like enough for that time. And also I use the Google Drive for the sending and informations and for starters, because I think when you start working with a lot of people, okay, that's a bit too much. When you're starting to work with people, let's say that way, it's good thing to not overspend because you're testing stuff. And there's like 100 different ways. As I said, you could use Slack, but Slack costs like $8 a month per user. Yeah. If I had like 10 people, going around back and forth, giving and take like 2 months and in and out, it's unnecessary. If you could do that on Discord as well. Only thing that Slack was better is that you could send files for the Slack as well. Yeah. On Discord, you have that limit of like 10 megabytes or something like that, so you can even send pictures sometimes. But you could have Google Drive for that, which is free and up until 15 gigabytes. But you could, for like small, for pennies, you could get like 200 gigabytes, and it's like enough for a year. Yeah. If back then. Yeah. And I noticed several things that I didn't like with it. And that's, first, we don't have like a calendar for the projects. And then we changed several of those like organizing project management tools. We did use Trello, we did use, I think, Asana. And now we're back to Notion for the custom build calendar that I made with help of several freelancers. And I think I will switch again, because I saw some bugs that I don't like.
Do you also find with Notion there's like some bugs or like loading? Like I don't know. It's like always for us. It's always an issue. And when you share also with clients, because we're sharing sometimes Notion project, like clients they cannot access it. Like you need to ask for emails, and it's like a chaos.
I'll just give you one example. When we do have like some sort of dates, when, for example, if it's from like 14 to 18 May, some sort of project, I see that as one string on my calendar, but my team member doesn't see, because programmer did like a due date and put two variables, and one variable is for them, one variable is for me. It's stupid. Then I need to correct it so they could see it. And I think that customization is the problem at the end of the day. I want a full fledged solution for that. So maybe I'm again thinking maybe Asana or something like that could work better, but I'm in the process of figuring it out. But Notion was good up until sometimes. And one time I remember I was like working from home, like it was Saturday evening, and I was like preparing a calendar for the next week, and everything just got deleted. And I was like, come on, and I need to do it again, and that was the time when, the job that spilled the glass. I was like, okay, I need to find something else. But, when the team grows, it's difficult to find different solutions because it takes time, and also they need to learn it. And they don't want to learn it, When I told them, we'll have new calendar, that's like a third calendar in like the last 6 months, There was like, okay, let's stick with one, So for now, we're doing Notion, but we will slowly transit to something else when we see something better. For the sharing files, we did also have a problem, because if you have like a Google Drive, the person who is sending the files also needs to keep those files on their drive as well. So they're like duplicate kind of drives, because they're somewhere on the cloud, but in their mail, which is free mail, it'll stick there and will stick on my shared mail as well. And then I need to make several of these like shared mails, every time when we fill the 200 gigabytes. And I was like thinking, okay, I think this doesn't work. We could go for cloud services, but at the end of the day, we could also buy a server. And we actually bought a server at the end of the day, and we do have like I think 32 terabytes of memory. I think we will not fill it for like 10 years probably, But yeah, it's in our office right now, and we put all files there. You also have an application for like a drive, I could just, on my phone see it, I could download everything, and also all the members can do it back home. Yeah, but I did mention, I didn't mention that we do have office. In 2023, we didn't have it, and then in 2024, I rent a place where we could work. It's like an apartment. I think we have like a 70 square meters. So it's like a free room, and one room is for PCs and stuff. The other room is like a conference, and the second and third one was like for the filming of the animations, because we do have like mocap suits and stuff that could film animation and green screens and etc. etc. But yeah, I think now conference room will start to turn into second PC room, because we need more spaces. So maybe we'll need to find more new space, and that's why I always said how the things were done and then how things will be, because it's constant progress, and how the team grows, then we need to grow these stuff. But yeah, today it's just our servers. Communication for Discord is left. I don't know how, but we still communicate through Discord. And it's not remote anymore, it's on site. And I do have like a lot of talk about the on-site remote stuff. I know that you said that you all guys doing like remote mostly.
Yeah, we will have mostly remote.
I'm quote unquote forcing on-site. It's not like a modern thing to do right now, but I have like some feeling when we do these creative projects, and when we're doing remote, it doesn't have that feel that we are working on the one project together. It's again like a more freelancers doing individual stuff, and they're just combining. And I'm in the position where I want to grow this studio to, for example, I really want to, to have more employees, more different divisions. I want to develop marketing division, financial division, and stuff like that in my company in the following years. And I want these people who are here and who are for sometimes here to be a core part of the team, and they could teach other people. They cannot do that from home, Yeah. It's just it doesn't, especially when somebody new came, and somebody who is teaching you never went to the main office. So yeah, for starters, when somebody comes for the interview, I always ask, it will be a problem if he works on site? And we do have like a studio in Novi Sad, and most of our workers are from Novi Sad. One is from like a village next to it, but yeah, we are mostly doing this. And probably in some point, part of the core team, when we overload with people, will start to go hybrid or remote, of course. But in this time when the company grows, it's key to be there, to be in the place of the growing, and in the place of where everything is. How to say that,
Yeah, like it's interesting to hear, because a lot of people are like spoiled with the remote stuff.
Yeah, I know that it's like they even don't care about the salary if be on the site. I want to be at home, and do nothing.
Yeah, so in my case, like we have this like a co-working space that I actually did it first of all for myself and for Mila, because we were discussing, and we cannot work at home. I just cannot, because when I'm at home, I just want to like relax.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with my wife Mila, and just just not. I mean, I'm still on the computer like doing some stuff, but it's not like operation stuff. Like when I'm in the office, I can get down stuff much quicker. If I'm at home, it's just like something researching or something finding. So for me, that was like the primary goal. But when I'm speaking to people, of course, like I have, Alyosha, I was speaking about him. So when he started, he was, we had an agreement first, it's going to be in office, like 6 months, and then it's kind of like a hybrid approach.
Yeah, that's my idea as well.
Yeah, so I would say you have to find a balance, because people are, well, I don't want to say like spoiled, but they are in some way. And sometimes, I mean, they have their own goals. Like if they're just, for example, with you to make money, salary, and get their job done, and that's it, that's like one thing. If they want to grow within the team, that's another thing. And I think you can also come up with the good arguments that if you guys want to grow, like you have to be here, like you have to be here, you have to look at things together. So I'm also liking the idea for the office, but it's also hard to, kind of like push people on that. But you have to be like straightforward. Hey, like this is an office job, because most bigger companies and companies in general, they're bringing people back in the office, because I think by having this remote stuff,
people start to distancing a lot from the COVID, and I think that from COVID, managed to evolve the remote stuff and show people how they could work from home and don't come into office. You lose a lot in the traffic and stuff like that, And when you're at home, people cherish that. They love that, and as you said, they're spoiled, a bit. But again, when you're at work in the office, you do know that you are here for the work. It's the same thing with a gym. A lot of people goes to the gym, right? But you could practice at home, right? You could train at home. But why don't you do that? Because you want to go to the gym, and there's a place where everybody around you, trains, and it serves as a mentality that you train as well, there. That's same for the work at the end of the day, I could also train at home and I could also work at home, but it's the same room, and I could also live at that room. That was like an argument that I got from one of my workers. He is also a basketball player, and he really likes to be outside. He doesn't want to be at home, and when he was remote, it was killing him. He was in the same room where he was sleeping, watching some shows and also working, and he was like entire day in the room. It was like when we started to doing office and stuff like that, he was like, this is the best thing that ever happens to me.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like a different argument to that. There's a people that do not like to go to the offices. They do not like to communicate or doing socialization at all. But yet again, I'm in the position where I'm not looking for those kind of people at the end of the day. I'm looking for a people who could be there for the team, for the development, and who could, again, I like to use that metaphor. In this small team, you have like a bigger piece of the pie. You are a bigger cogwheel. Your decisions matter. In the company that has like 300 employees, you usually are not visible. You could even not work. Maybe they will not notice. When you're junior, for example. But yeah, here, even if you're junior and even if you want to do something, you could suggest. You just need to suggest me, and it already can be implemented in the next project if it's a good thing. It won't be tossed away on some pile of ideas and burnt at the end of the month. It will be noticed. And I always I'm just again talking from my personal thinking, but yeah, I think that's if I would work in some company, I would always look for that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what people will agree or not.
Tell them in the comments.
Yeah, it's a controversial topic, but I mean, I totally understand what you're saying, and I resonate with the same what you're saying. Let's go back to Fiverr and let's talk about things that you hate about Fiverr. No, but let's talk about the things that are annoying, because I mean, there are a lot of things annoying I'm also mentioning, and what's something you have that you just want, like, Fiverr please change, or something that you just bothers you,
Well, let's say from the earliest things that happened, and then maybe I will remember stuff that are way back. But Fiverr Go, for example, that's like a new AI tool for communication and stuff. So because I'm like Seller Plus, or I don't know what's the tier name. Yeah. I do have like a Fiverr Go AI thingy. And for my category, it doesn't have like that AI creative gig. I don't know I probably like logo design and stuff like that. But we do have like an AI assistant, and we name it Hedgie because Hedgie is our mascot, for the company. And then I just teach him what he needs to say, to ask. Like I said, those questions that I usually ask, he asks, and I watch him, how he asks. He asks when clients send the message, he sends like 6 messages. One, it looks like a spam, and usually clients doesn't reply after that. And I teach him, do not send more than 1 message, just one, and compile everything, that message, all the questions. Again, he sends 2 or 3 messages. And then you need to do it again. And the most annoying thing for me, and I was also talking to my success manager about that, I hope that they will implement that, because, ChatGPT does that, that Chinese one does that as well, and that's like reading the images. I don't know if you know that, but this AI from Fiverr does not know how to read images. And images are really important for my job because they're references, for example, some clients wants to create a character for some game, let's say that way, because that's like the closer topic. And they want to do this, and they send, this is art, concept art. And Hedgie, or AI assist, replies, I cannot see what's on this image. Can you describe me? And believe me, clients go nuts, you know. So how can you not see, you know?
Yeah.
And then I need to, you know, to step in and say, Hedge is our AI assistant. He's still learning, you know, and stuff like that. Be a bit, you know, comical. And then I said, I saw, you know, what's on the reference. We could do this. This is the, you know, package for you, blah, blah. But yeah, it looks like a half done project. I don't want to say that, but you know, in the world where ChatGPT can recognize videos as well, if their AI cannot, you know, understand what's on the image.
Yeah. Did you turn it off?
No,
it's still on.
But it's still on. But I think I will turn it on if there's not, you know, any updates coming in soon. Because again, I said I don't have that higher traffic of the messages. I could manage that myself, or one people can do that. So I don't need like technically AI assistant for that. It's a good thing, you know. Also there's a second thing that's also annoying. But let's finish this first one. It's important that they do have like those kind of images, or at least they could understand the links, you know. Also, he cannot enter the link, you know, and see what's on the link.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe some sort of policy, Fiverr, because on the link it could be some personal informations. But for example, if it's a YouTube link, he could watch it and he could, you know, give a summary or something like that. That would be a really good thing, you know. That would be useful for all, not only for my specific niche, because my niche is a bit smaller than, you know, for example, social media. Yeah. But they could also be good for like a graphical design as well, you know. And graphical design is as a whole, you know, architecture, post creation, illustrations, whatever you need. Even for AI design, that you do have like categories on the Fiverr, it still could be good, like to see references and to create from the reference. I mean, if that's what you need, that will be, you know, useful, and that will be some sort of automation. This is not an automation at the end of the day. The second thing that's again annoying is that he could send the offer, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. And we do have like tiers on our page, like middle tier, lower, and higher. But in 90% of our cases, it's a custom tier, you know, because no two projects are similar in any way, you know. Somebody is creating a commercial for the pizza restaurant, and this guy is creating for a car wash shop, you know, or something like that. And depends on what they have, if they have like prior characters, or they have like some sort of environment, or they have script or not. Everything that fills some sort of checks, and then the price again, or the quote, is different one from another. And what Fiverr Go usually do is just send the closest offer. So for example, sometimes he just sent lowest offer because client said that he wants a 10-second commercial, but he doesn't have anything, and he has a lot of, you know, things going on in the commercials, explosions, free characters, complex animations, you know. Yeah. I just sounds, music as well, and he just said $300, that's enough, you know. And yeah, that's why I need to step in again and say, sorry, he's still learning, blah, 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 you know. He needs to, this offer is not, you know, full. This is how offer will stand. If you need to cancel it, I understand. And usually it happens like maybe a few times. Sometimes I did need to cancel out, and sometimes just client paid an extra, and that was a fine deal in the end of the day. Yeah. But yeah, those two things needs to be a bit more direct. And I think it could be because I see that, you know, the main AIs, again, maybe I'm talking too much because I'm not an AI developer, I'm not, you know, data scientist or however, but I do see this as some sort of as a customer, because I'm paying for that service, and I see that, you know, other providers can do that. So I think that, you know, Fiverr can do that as well.
Yeah. What else? So we went hard on the Fiverr Go.
I think I overstepped.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not using Fiverr Go because I mean, you know, there are a lot of complications, and I feel it's best to you know, have a control of this thing that you have. Mm-hmm. So, but is there something else besides the Fiverr Go? Like in generally the you know, order, when the order comes in, the requirements section, maybe the subscriptions or anything in mind? you have?
I did have like I could do a small rant on ads, Fiverr ads.
Okay.
Because again, it looks like unfinished kind of product. You have like a several. You do have like a two small kind of range of options that you could do. You know, you could just set your CPC or like put it on automation, and you could put how much daily you want to place. But again, it's how they do that system in behind. You know, who they will show that ads and stuff like that. I think that could be a bit more complex, like Meta are doing. You know. Because it could be like maybe a slider simpler and advanced. If you put advanced, you have like more options like tags and stuff like that, where you could like maybe specialize certain clients, how much they're spending and showing that gigs to them, because sometimes clients that contact us and they say promote it, they're not near what they want to do with our services. It probably just pop up to
I'm surprised because this feature has been for a long time. They changed the name from promoted gigs to Fiverr ads, but the functionality is always the same. Like there is no, first of all, I think they could if we want to spend more, let's say I'm spending $50 per day. That's my maximum. But I want to test 100. I want to see what's going to be a difference if I spend 100.
Exactly.
But the second thing is that there is no, for example, if I want to target, like you said, with people specific tags, because now there are a lot of more sellers who can use Fiverr ads. Now they just have to be like level 1 and you can use Fiverr ads. Before you have to wait until you have enough reviews and things like that. But now most people can jump in right away. So it creates a lot of competition. And of course, if I can select, I want to target people with like Instagram, for example. They search Instagram and I want to be there. I'm still kind of there, but it's still not transparent to me, enough. I agree with you. I mean, this can be improved.
As I said, it's too saturated, and the $15 daily mark is not like too high. Like it could get higher, probably. Like you see how much people are putting in the ads for the Facebook or for the Instagram, So I think that it could be like raised maybe, or maybe it could have like some more different information that you could put, like you said, tags, stuff like that. So I think that those two. And beside that, I cannot, from top of my mind, I cannot get anything else.
Some really good things about Fiverr, so we can complement them. What do you think is the best about this?
Like I said, I really like the main idea, and that's the gigs. I think that's a really, really good idea, because you do not need to chase your clients like you could do, like you do on the Upwork. You still have like some sort of briefs. I don't know if you get those. We do get like a lot of briefs.
I have it turned off actually.
Turned off. Okay,
But
we did get some sort like decent number of projects from the briefs, because again it's more specific to our niche. Client just place everything there and just place the references, description, and the price. And also if the price is negotiable, delivery date is negotiable, and then we could contact them, ask more questions, and then at the end give us a quote. So for us it's okay. What happened is that there's no, again, some sort of quality assurance that brief will be a good for you. A lot of times, like I said, I see that people want a lot of things and the budget is not nearly there, but maybe it's not built for me, it's built for some sort of level 1 or somebody who started, But again, it showed to me as well as to the level 1. But briefs at the end of the day did, give us some sort of clients, so I think it's okay. But again, I started to criticize, and we said,
What's sorry to interrupt you. What's the best feature from Seller Plus, do you think?
I'm not sure. Is it a 7-day
clearance?
Is that still a part of it, or?
I think. I'm not sure actually. Because we should be an expert, right? On but I think if you're a top-rated seller, you get 7 days.
For free.
But in Seller Plus, it's also 7 days. Yes, you also get.
I mean, it's cool that you have a success manager. That's a good thing. I could talk with somebody and he could check from behind some stuff. And also, when you do have some sort of problems, you do have a priority with the customer support, or let's say seller support. And I did have when I weren't the top seller, it was tough to get maybe some sort of information that you need, or to get with some sort of clients, if they need to cancel order or stuff like that. But now when I'm top seller, I do see like I do have like a smoother sailing, let's say that way. When I do contact the customer support, they are more eager to answer, they're faster, and they usually finish the stuff without headaches, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're also pro seller, and it's like they have to reply within 2 hours. So that's when they see a pro seller and the top rate seller, I mean that's actually a big makes you're like really they need to treat you well. You
did mention that what's the best thing from that, and I know there's like a 10 dots for like a seller plus, right, or something like that. And I could remember like 2 or 3 of them.
Are you using coupons or this like buyer promotion
or
follow-ups?
I did use all of them, and usually I think that coupons did some things, like maybe 5% of the coupons return as a new sell, and for the return up and follow up, I do that manually. Yeah. I did try with an application to send that, but it doesn't, I didn't get replies or something like that. Yeah. I think that's when I'm working with some clients, I know when they will need something new, and I could do for this automatization, but I feel, access again, I don't have a lot of clients, so I don't have like 1,000 clients that I need to send the same message.
Yeah.
So I could just, be genuine and be myself, type them, hey, we were working, it was really great. Yeah. How the project is going, did you need something else? Also, we did this, and this, I think that this will be really good for your project, and, we could continue from there. And even then, I sometimes just ask them how things are going, just, to get, maybe they're struggling with their business or something like different. And then they say, okay, we are good, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And then some other time we send them what we did, like we did this commercial for that and that, we could do same thing for you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Fiverr Go is a part of the Seller Plus, I think, right now.
The assistant, you can use.
Yeah.
I like a lot as well in the Seller Plus. You can see the buyer. When you get this inbox message, you can see like a little bit of their preview, so you can get a taste of what is gonna happen.
You know what's funny? Actually, it's funny that I'm using Fiverr Premium or Plus, or is it Plus or Premium? I don't know.
Seller Plus, but you have 2 tiers. I think like the standard and the premium.
Premium tier. I'm using that for a so long period of time that I forgot how was before. I like you mentioned that tier. I forgot that it's turned off. It's always on. It's like so. Yeah, maybe I just get used to it, or maybe I'm spoiled,
It's like you don't want to, and the price is going up and and up. So
but when you see, for example, that client is doing like, for example, 20 projects, and they're all from like $100 to $500, that's a really good sign, And today I'm looking that. Also, I'm looking, also I'm looking what they, write to me. But you do have like those kind of Fiverr clients or stuff like that, where there's a blue building above the. I think it's got clients can achieve that pretty easy, right? I'm not sure what's the process behind it, but I see a lot of Fiverr businesses, coming to me, and it's like one guy and English. I mean, my English is not also perfect, but his English is terrible, And then he also wants to do something that it's out of scope, and And again, I see, okay, that's a Fiverr business. How they're, it doesn't look like a business. It looks like a. Sorry.
We all understood.
I'm talking too much. It looks like just a guy,
Yeah, because I think now they also have a tier for businesses that they need to pay, like to Fiverr to have some things. So I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they're so big, and these things I think can happen. But I hope they're listening to us to this interview. And I hope they're taking their feedback, because there are a lot of sellers who left Fiverr. Like if you go on the forum, I try not to go there because it's like a little bit dramatic sometimes. But some sellers are leaving, so So going into our like conclusions, like, do you think for you, do you see Fiverr is still, it still has more potential, or do you feel that's it, is the ceiling, and now I need to push maybe some other directions? What are your plans?
Even though I did critique some of the stuff, I still think that Fiverr has a lot of potential for me. We, of course, as a company or as a studio, wanted to have a direct clients, like B2B connections from the site, and we do cherish that, but also we do cherish our connection with the Fiverr, and because we still see the constant grow in our revenue, monthly revenue. So I think that in the times that come, I will still keep with the Fiverr. Beside this works with the site, and I think that will as I said at the beginning, I do like to have like several ways to get our clients or to get leads, and Fiverr is one of them. It's one of the biggest, as not is the biggest client, because we do want to stay there, and we want to see how we could improve ourselves on the Fiverr as well. So maybe some sort of new gigs, new extras, so for the upselling and stuff like that. And also to get over this ceiling that we have right now. I think it's definitely manageable, because I see a lot of people that are doing better than us. Like, for example, you do better, the guys that you show us, when we were talking about.
That's why, I'm putting the videos like, 40K this month, 50K. Just crazy, like people I'm trying to keep people on Fiverr. But,
I think that it's definitely possible, Also, as I said, I see there's beside these individuals that comes, there's also smaller companies like smaller to mid companies that comes to Fiverr to find freelancers, and then find us as an agency. Say, okay, this is really good. They're professionals. We could contact them for our service, for the service that we need, and it's a good marketing tool for our company. Like I said, it is a 20% cut, from the cut. Let's say that way, cut from the projects. But again, it's okay, at the end of the day, because we do get that publicity through them, So it's definitely okay.
Yeah. Are you planning to also push like some clients directly? Like, are you thinking to maybe like be present on social media, or are you prefer just keep it for now on Fiverr and we'll see?
Well, I'm not really skilled in doing social medias like I mentioned to you before, but I see, like, especially this year and the last year, it's really, really important, as a spokesperson of some company or studio or an agency, to be present and talk about it, because at the end of the day, that's how you can get more leads, or you can get more potential clients, or you could just get and show to the world what you're doing, and that's really important. You could do for the profiles of the agency as well, but in the order of how the things are created on the internet, people are tending to look up to the people, not to the companies. Yeah. That's why, you do have like a lot of these UGC content creations or stuff like that, or these amateur video creations for the projects. Those companies can easily create that, perfect professional video and put it there, but at the end of the day, people like to see like some regular guy showing, some sort of body lotion or stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that I will try to go there. Again, I'm doing too much analyzing from my side. I think that I just need to go and start doing that. And I think that it will definitely be a must for me at the end of the day. Yeah.
For like a Serbian community, we talk about Uroš, the Flow Ninja. Yeah. I'm just curious, when you think about like him and the agency, like, where do you go? Do you go because of Uroš, or do you go because of the Flow Ninja?
At the end of the day, I first noticed Uroš when he was at the podcast in Business Priče. Yeah. I didn't hear for his agency. Yeah. And I liked that he's really young and he has like a already mid-sized to big-sized company, in niche, and I think that's really, really good. You have a lot of people to look up to you.
Yeah.
And I think that at the end of the day, that shows you that you need to be present online, just from that example. And you have a lot of examples, like, for example, as you said, you show yourself on the social medias, not your company, let's say that way. And I think that's important.
Yeah, that's a good really example.
Yeah.
And last thing, Filip, it's been good. I think it's been intense. Last thing, what do you just recommend for others if they want to go on Fiverr? It doesn't matter if they maybe have an agency, because even in this co-working space, I talk with some people. They have like web design agency, and I'm like, just try Fiverr, because it's like, why not? And this guy Mirko, he's already like working on his gig here. He wants to launch it. What do you recommend? Is it still possible to start on Fiverr? Like, what do you recommend? Just maybe top things to keep in mind.
Usually people nowadays think that freelancing is not really the option that we could go, but I would beg to differ. I think you still do have like a lot of potential clients that you get from the Fiverr, and it doesn't cost a lot. You could just open profile, create a gig, and all the stuff that you do for the social media or for the outreach or for the cold email marketing or for everything, you could do for Fiverr as well. You could just make a good copy, make a creative, and place it gig, and who knows, maybe you will get clients there, and you just need to keep the motor running. So I think definitely for agencies, definitely you don't have a lot to lose. It's not like a big investment. And for the people that's starting, it's maybe easier to make a profile on the Upwork or Fiverr than to send 200 emails each day, And you just make those profiles and work on your skill, especially because in the beginning. I think that's, when you look on the Fiverr, as you said, you do have like a lot of average kind of work, or even under average kind of work, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of situation, and you don't want to fall in that category. You need to stood up, You could just, keep one day, open Fiverr buyer page, and just see, okay, what's good, what's not, how can I be better than this guy, or this guy, This guy has like 200 orders. Am I good as him, And then after analyzing this, you just, if you're doing something like me, like 3D stuff or 3D animation, 3D character creation, create something, for you that you like, that you like that style. Yeah, because if you do put some of your creative spark in it, people will definitely notice, that you have it. So I think that's, important. And also for different, stuff. If you can like stood out from the crowd on any social media, you could definitely stood out here as well.
Yeah, I think it's great, and it definitely has a lot of potential still, like you said, on Fiverr. I mean, just have to create profile, stay patient, consistent, and good results will happen. Filip, it's been really great. I will leave the links as well to your Fiverr profile. People want to work with you, also to your social media. So I guess it's the time now to start.
I do have like a push now.
So the links in the description, guys, if you want to reach out to Filip. And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Wesley.
So we'll see each other more.